Hi there, this is Architect David. Welcome to Arkida, where you can learn anything and everything about construction. For this video, we will be talking about cost management. Cost management is the process of estimating, allocating, and controlling project cost. The cost management process allows a business to predict future expenses to reduce the chances of budget overrun. The first thing to look at is resource planning. Resource planning is the process of forecasting future resource requirements for a business, project, or a scope of work. To create a resource plan, you need to start by defining the project scope, a document that details the project activities that will be done. Once the project activities have been defined, project managers usually rely on historical data, expert opinions, and resource planning tools to estimate the resources that will be needed. Next is cost estimating. Cost estimating consists of assigning cost to the resources you need to execute your projects, such as labor, materials, and equipment. Cost estimating is one of the most important steps in the cost management process because it lays out the base for your project budget. There are several project cost estimating techniques you can use depending on the characteristics of your project. Next is cost budgeting. Based on your cost estimates, you can now create a project budget, which is simply the sum of all your project costs. Make sure to include all types of project cost, including direct, indirect, fixed, and variable cost. A project budget should also include contingency reserves in case there's work that needs to be redone or a risk that has struck the project and risk mitigation strategies need to be taken. Once the project starts, the project budget is a baseline that's used to compare the actual cost versus the estimated cost. Therefore, project budgets allow project managers to quickly understand if their costs are too high and if there's a risk of cost overrun. Cost control, on the other hand, refers to all the activities, guidelines, and procedures taken to minimize and track project cost. Poor cost control can affect the profitability of a project, but luckily project management software can help you to easily keep track of cost with tools such as timesheets, workload planners, and project dashboards. The output of these 4 steps can be documented in a cost management plan, which is a critical component of the project plan. A cost management plan sounds simple. It's an outline of the cost estimation for the project, but that includes all allocation and how the project manager will control those costs to bring the project in as budgeted. A cost management plan must take into account the resources that impact the project budget, whether materials or people. There are also fixed, variable, and overhead costs. All these must be calculated to know what your financial commitment to the project will be. And last but not the least is the stakeholder who has a vested interest in keeping costs down. Cost overrun is a problem many projects experiences, but not one that stakeholders will tolerate well. Keep the stakeholder in mind when formulating your cost management plan. They need to stay in the loop and get reports throughout the project. Now, what is a cost management plan? Here are some key elements that must be included in a cost management plan. First is the estimation method. Explain which cost estimation method was employed, such as parametric, bottom-up, 3-point, etc. Next is units of measure. To measure costs accurately, it's important to establish units of measures for your labor, material, and equipment. Some examples of measurement units can be staff hours, square feet, tons, kilograms, etc. So the cost management plan usually establishes the following. First, the units of measure. Example, days, weeks, months, liters, gallons, cubic yards, and weight. Next is the level of precision, 2 decimal points, precision, 5 decimal point precision, rounding it up or down. The other one is the level of accuracy, meaning to say it has the tolerances or what are the acceptable ranges. And another is the organizational procedure links which tie back to control accounts in the work breakdown structure. Second to the last is control thresholds. Variance thresholds for measuring cost performance before action needs to be taken. And the last is the rule of performance measurement. The EVM, which stands for Earned Value Management Rules of Performance, which is the reporting formats and process description. Now, another part of the cost management plan outline is the cost baseline. Based on your cost estimates, you must define a cost baseline that marks the spending limit of your project. The cost baseline in project management allows project managers to compare actual expenses to projected expenses at the same point in the project, and it will help keep a project on budget. It will help project managers evaluate overall project performance, and it will help ensure the project doesn't go off track. It will also help project managers compare the actual effort to the cost variance, cost performance index, and more. Furthermore, all these are useful for predicting. The cost baseline in project management allows the stakeholders to judge whether the project is worthy of being carried out. Again, the cost baseline in project management helps project managers enhance cost management. And the last is the cost baseline in project management helps project managers monitor project costs to prevent overspending and protect the company's finances. Next is cost control thresholds. Establishing thresholds to monitor cost performance is important. This simply means that when cost variation reaches a certain percentage, the project team will take cost management actions. Control thresholds help you manage the control cost of a project throughout the completion. These figures depend on the project size and budget and help you stay within budgets and deadlines. Performance measurement methods. You have to establish how the cost performance will be measured to see if you're meeting the goals and expectations of the project. To do so, you'll need a cost tracking system and earned value management or EVM techniques. Performance measurement is the monitoring of budgets or targets that gain actual results to establish how well the project and its manpower are functioning as a whole and as individuals. Reporting guidelines. You need to have a format and communication channels to report your findings as you monitor the project's progress and present this data to your stakeholders. They must be included in the plan. How frequent will you be reporting about cost performance of the project? What will be the format for cost reporting? For instance, you will report a brief high-level cost report to senior management in every 2 weeks and a detailed report in every month. This must be cleared out. Why is cost management important in project management? The main reason why cost management is so important in project management is that your cost management plan includes the guidelines and procedures needed to stay on budget. This is critical because otherwise the organization could lose money as cost exceeds profits. The cost management process begins in the planning phase of the project, where costs are estimated and then a project budget is defined. Then, when the project is executed, the expenses are carefully monitored and recorded to make sure that they're aligned with the budget. When you have a project budget, it sets a baseline for project costs. That means it governs the decisions and directions you take when managing costs on your project. This helps you keep the project on track without overspending. Now for some cost management tips. There are some tips to keep in mind when you're working or managing your project costs. One is plan for inflation. Pricing is not set in stone, and any good budget is going to take this into account by allowing for a range of cost. What are the tips for this? You seek out partners who understand local and global market impacts. You eliminate procurement roadblocks. You integrate trades early and pay them quickly. You communicate, communicate, communicate. Another tip is to account for natural disasters or potential events. Expect the unexpected might sound silly, but you must have room in your budget for a weather event, personal issues, or another unknown that will delay the project. These are called risks during the planning stage. Another tip is identifying and analyzing unexpected costs. Not all unexpected costs are random. There can be legal issues, penalties associated with the project, or unexpected labor costs, all of which you can budget for but can inform your budget. Managing unexpected expenses is an inevitable part of running a business. Whether it's an equipment breakdown, a sudden tax liability, or a necessary facility repair, these unplanned costs can put a strain on your business finances. It's crucial to have strategies in place to manage these situations effectively and minimize their impact on your company's financial health. So you should maintain an emergency fund, which is one of the best ways to prepare for an unexpected expense. This cash reserve should be separate from your regular operating funds and should be easily accessible in case of unforeseen expenditures. Work with your accountants to determine the appropriate size of your emergency fund based on your business' unique needs and risk factors. Another tip is to track in real time. Having software to monitor the budget as you execute the project is key for managing cost. However, if you're looking at data that isn't current, you won't be able to act swiftly enough to resolve issues. Therefore, you want to have software with a real-time data tracking. You track time on your task within a project and gain an understanding of the actual time you'll need to finish the said tasks in the future. Next is respond promptly. Regardless of how you discover a discrepancy in your project cost, you must act immediately. The longer you wait, the more money is wasted. And lastly, size accordingly. Some people think smaller projects don't need project management, but small or large, you'll want to manage cost. In order to best manage project costs, you have to know your project inside and out. The best way to do that is at the start of the project by creating a thorough project charter. Well, I hope you've learned something new today. Watch out for my next videos. Click the subscribe button to discover all the other videos in this site. Click the notification bell to be notified about new videos that we post. If you have additional comments, please post them down below or at our Arkida Facebook page, and I will answer all your queries. Thank you.